Welcome to another edition of Tales from the Vault. This is the video series where we take a deep dive inside the vault to find all the tips, news, everything we can, all based around Symantec Veritas archiving and complementary solutions. I'm your host, Bob Bedore, and today, well, today's going to be a little spring cleaning as we take a look inside file governance. To make sure I've got it all under wraps here, I've got our very own Martha Stewart. This is Kathan Shaw, Director of Product Management here at Symantec. And Kathan, thanks for coming in the vault. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. I have to have you because I know nothing about file governance. This would be the worst video on record without you here. Know that. So let's start with it. Tell me, what is file governance?
So organizations face a daunting task managing file data, largely because it's unstructured and dark data. Also, it's rapidly increasing and growing, which increases costs and increases risks. Now, what we find is companies find a three-step process to manage this and govern this. So it starts with visibility, getting an understanding of what you have, analysis, so getting actionable intelligence and engaging the business stakeholders, and control. So this is fixing the problem and setting up repeatable processes through policies.
All right, now you mentioned unstructured data. This is the weird stuff that we have. That's it's like, for me, it's my family pictures that are on. It's whatever motivational posters, whatever dumb stuff I have on my computer, right? The random things. What are we doing to get all that together?
Yeah, so this is data that's not in a structured database, right? So this is things in file shares and SharePoint type systems.
All right, so just random stuff, I guess, is kind of what I was saying.
Yep.
So we take a look. What are we doing now to take that random stuff and getting it structured, or the governance behind it?
Absolutely. So it really starts with visibility and giving organizations the understanding of what data do they have. And we have a solution in this. As you can see, it's called Symantec Data Insight. And as the name suggests, it provides insight into the data. What type of insight? It helps you understand what data do you have, who owns it, how is it being used, who has access to it, and what's the business value of that data. Now, armed with these insights and analysis capabilities, organizations can leverage that for three key objectives: data management, information security, and compliance.
Completely understand that because you got to know what you have. You got to see it to fix it. So now that you've got that data insight, what's next?
Yeah, and this is really where the complementary solution comes in, right, between Data Insight and Enterprise Vault. So Data Insight helps you with the understanding and intelligence into the data. And the connection between Data Insight and Enterprise Vault enables that end-to-end process that I described, the three-step process, right? So using Data Insight, you find the data, whether it's for cost savings purposes or compliance purposes or discovery purposes. And then using the integration between the two, you can automatically move that data into the archive, apply a retention period. So you can preserve that, you can reduce costs on your primary storage, as well as sort of ensure that you're preserving for compliance as well as discovery purposes in Enterprise Vault.
Okay, and what you were saying there, just when you talk about the storage, people save everything. I mean, that's part of what we're talking about here with the spring cleaning. There's so much pack rat mentality, keeping everything. But while they're saving this, what they should be doing is trying to find ways to save the storage, save money. So again, how does this work to help them achieve that goal?
Absolutely. So let's take a look, right? So what you're seeing here is essentially one of the product pages of Data Insight, and you look at orphan data that exists in the organization. These are folders that are orphaned because they're stale, nobody's touched them, or people who created them left the organization, or nobody has access to this data. You can quickly identify these large-scale orphan folders in Data Insight, and then through sort of clicking on the orphan folders, you can select them, and you can, through one click, send them into Enterprise Vault, archive those folders. Enterprise Vault will pull that data into the archive, either keep it for a retention period or expire that after a certain period of time. Right, so really this automation benefit comes with this end-to-end integration. And funny you mentioned spring cleanup, because that's exactly the term some of our customers use when they do data migrations, right? So when you move the house, you get rid of junk, and this is another example of when this gets used as well.
No, this is exactly why I will never move, because I have way too much junk. And really sad, the word orphan that is used so much through there. This is a really sad IT thing. The other word in there that's kind of a little scary to some people is compliance. Now with this governance, you're putting everything, you're getting it all put together, but people need to make sure that they're still compliant with everything they have. So how are we taking care of that?
Absolutely. So the same kind of analysis that Data Insight provides helps with compliance from a records management and records compliance perspective, right? So when you talk about records, right, the problem there is organizations need to identify which files are business records and contain business value, and based on that, how long should they be preserved, right? So for example, something that is PI or has personally identifiable information that's owned by the legal department may need to be preserved for 7 years. So let's take a look, right? So as you can see in this screen, this is a product page of Data Insight again, you can filter the information based on different attributes about that information, right? So attributes like what's the age of the data, who owns it, which business unit owns it, which are the people that are using it, but also what's the classification and the content inside the data. And classification could come from our data loss prevention solution, which we integrate this solution with, as well as other sort of content-aware classification engines, right? So when you look at this multi-dimensional aspect of classification, you get the full perspective of the business value of the data. And then once you have that understanding, you can automatically, once again, click that one button, send that information to Enterprise Vault, and apply a retention period, like for 5 years or 7 years. Enterprise Vault will receive that, start the clock. After 5 years, it'll expire that data.
All right. Now I'm gonna go back to a word you mentioned a lot in there that the classification. We look at that classifying, putting it into the right bins or something if we're going to go with the spring cleaning kind of thing. How is this all working? How are you classifying things with this?
That's a great question, right? So typically classification, when it comes to file data, the approaches of boil the ocean do not work because this is big data. This is petabytes of data, right? So what we've seen is to take a layered approach to classification. So start with things that you understand easily, like metadata. Right. Start with ownership, who owns the data. Start with activity, who's using the data. And then ultimately also look at the content classification aspects of things. So Data Insight provides all the sort of analysis capabilities to help you with that multidimensional classification in an automated way. And it partners with solutions like data loss prevention for the content-aware classification. But ultimately what our customers tell us is that they need to engage the line of business and the business stakeholder of the information, because the business stakeholder understands the business value of the information the best, right? Classification is all about business value of information. So what we've developed is a self-service portal workflow. And as you can see, this is a consumer-grade interface.
Oh, nice.
So your tools can classify the information, but then you can engage the end user and the data owner at scale in this interface where the data owner can say, yes, this is a business record. No, it's not a business record. And based on their decision, you can apply the actions such as, yes, this should be placed in retention schedule in Enterprise Vault, or no, this is not a business record. Right? So this gives you sort of the leverage of best of automated classification that we provide, as well as a human review angle at scale.
Wow, it looks really good, and I like that kind of the user interface you have with that. Really, really nice, and it seems to work pretty well. People who want to know more about this file governance, more than they've gotten from here, where can they go to get more information? They
can go to our website, symantec.com/data-insight, and I would really encourage them to look at our data assessment option. We've seen a lot of our customers find good cost savings opportunities, good sort of compliance risk opportunities just through that process.
Oh, perfect. And I'm sure they're going to do that. Keithan, thanks so much for spending some time with us. We appreciate you coming out here. And again, if you want to check that out, you can do symantec.com/data-insight. Just to make sure we get that all right. Of course, it was probably written on the screen for you because that's the way we do it here in the Vault. Keithan, again, thanks so much for being here. And for you, check out all the other videos as we go inside the Vault as we give you Tales from the Vault.